Hillary Clinton walked right into Bernie Sanders' trap. She's going to argue here that money in politics suddenly does not buy influence.
What being part of the establishment is in the last quarter having a super PAC that raised $15 million from Wall Street, that throughout one's life raised a whole lot of money from the drug companies and other special interests. To my mind, if we do not get a handle on money in politics and the degree to which big money controls the political process in this country, nobody is going to bring about the changes that is needed in this country for the middle class and working families.
Yeah, but I think it's fair to really ask what's behind that comment. You know, Senator Sanders has said he wants to run a positive campaign. I've tried to keep my disagreements over issues, as it should be. But time and time again, by innuendo, by insinuation, there is this attack that he is putting forth, which really comes down to, you know, anybody who ever took donations or speaking fees from any interest group has to be bought. And I just absolutely reject that, Senator. And I really don't think these kinds of attacks by insinuation are worthy of you. And enough is enough. If you've got something to say, say it directly. But you will not find that I ever changed a view or a vote because of any donation that I ever received. And I have stood up and I have represented my constituents to the best of my ability, and I'm very proud of that. So I think it's time to end the very artful smear that you and your campaign have been carrying out in recent weeks. And let's talk about the issues. Let's talk about the issues that divide us.
Okay, let's talk
we
about
both
issues.
agree with campaign finance reform.
Let's talk about issues.
I've worked hard for McCain-Feingold. I want to reverse Citizens United.
Let's talk about issues.
Let's talk about issues.
Let's talk about issues. All right, let's talk about why in the 1990s Wall Street got deregulated. Did it have anything to do with the fact that Wall Street spent billions of dollars on lobbying and campaign contributions? Well, some people might think, yeah, that had some influence. Let's ask why it is that we pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, and your medicine can be doubled tomorrow, and there's nothing that the government can do to stop it. You think it has anything to do with the huge amounts of campaign contributions and lobbying from the fossil fuel industry? Let's talk about climate change. Do you think there is a reason why not one Republican has the guts to recognize that climate change is real and that we need to transform our energy system? Do you think it has anything to do with the Koch brothers and ExxonMobil pouring huge amounts of money into the political system? That is what goes on in America.
He just laid the smackdown on her. No, he decimated her. He eviscerated her. He pulverized her. That was amazing. I don't know if you guys caught it there, but when she broke out the artful smear line, the audience booed. They booed. You want to know why they booed? They can see right through it. It's not an artful smear, Hillary. It's factual. When he says, hey, you took a lot of money from special interests, from Wall Street, from billionaires, and, you know, you're going to do their bidding, she's like, how dare you? I want to focus on the issues. No, not only is that focusing on the issues, that's focusing on the single biggest issue in American politics. There was a Princeton study that came out recently which concluded that the U.S. is effectively an oligarchy. You have billionaires and multinational corporations and the rich controlling the politicians, and they get whatever they want. And you know who has no effect on what policies we end up getting? The middle class and the poor, the American people. And the reason behind that is exactly what Bernie's talking about. If you get a lot of money from people, it turns out you like them. And you're going to answer that phone call, and you're going to listen to what they want, and you're going to care a lot more about them than you do about some random grandmother in Nebraska who needs your help. So, I mean, it's so disingenuous. Let's focus on issues, but ignore the biggest issue in American politics that affects everything. Okay, now, let's dig a little deeper here. She actually goes on to contradict herself, because after Bernie lashes into her there, and then the audience starts cheering and going nuts, she responds with, yeah, and nobody understands that better than me because the Republicans have spent a lot of money against me, and the Republicans are representing the corporations, and I'm fighting back against it. So, wait, notice what happened there. Within a 5-minute time span, Hillary Clinton went from, I can't believe you say that people who take money are influenced by it. That's not the way it works. She went from money does not affect politics, it doesn't influence politics, to money influences politics, but just when the Republicans take it. Her, on the other hand, when she takes money, she's so immensely principled that just because Goldman Sachs gave her $625,000 for a couple speeches doesn't mean she cares about them, and she's going to help them, and she's going to listen to them, and they're going to affect policy, and she's going to give them corporate welfare or tax loopholes or anything like that. Don't be ridiculous. Money affects politics, but just when the Republicans do it, not when I do it, not when I do it. So she contradicted herself. Money doesn't affect politics. Yeah, it does, but just when the Republicans do it. Oh my God, it's so cheap. It's so cheap. That's such a bad line of attack. And here's the thing, man, and this is why I think Bernie did such a fantastic job in this particular debate. I think it's going to be hard for people to not see the contradiction and the hypocrisy and the silliness and the fact that she's tap dancing and she's being defensive here. I think even if you're somebody who's like leaning in her camp, for example, you're going to look at that and go, come on, Hill, what are you saying? Like, you're contradicting yourself, your argument is not consistent, and it's just, it comes across as bullshit. Like, how dare you say that if I take money, I'm bought? Why the fuck do you think you have corporations and billionaires giving politicians money? It ain't because they like their looks. It's not because they're just friends with them or they want to hear their opinion on random world issues. No, they're of course doing it to get what they want in terms of policy. Now, Hillary did say, we got to be fair here. Fair is fair. Hillary did say, you can't point to one issue where I changed my position because of money. You just can't point to it. And she's actually right about that. We can point to like 8 issues where she changed her mind because of money. So first of all, as of right now, she's getting money from Wall Street and big banks, and she just, whoops, happens to oppose breaking up the big banks and bringing back Glass-Steagall, which is effective regulation which would prevent the next crash. Now, she bullshits her way around this one by saying, well, my plan is tougher. It's not. Of course it's not. But that's how she wiggles her way out of this one. Don't listen to what he's saying, even though it's true, because my plan is tougher, even though it's not tougher. Okay, so let's move along here. Let's write that one off. How about this? On May 26, 2015, the International Business Times reported the following, quote, Clinton Foundation donors got weapons deals from Hillary Clinton's State Department. Now, they go on in the article to explain that for a while, this Saudi weapons deal wasn't going anywhere. And it looked like, the State Department was against it and they weren't going to approve it. But then lo and behold, when some actors in the Saudi government decided to donate a tremendous amount of money to the Clinton Foundation, what happened? Magically, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton decided, I will now grant you your weapons deal. Funny how that works. Money buying influence? No, never. How about September 30th, 2015, quote, Hillary Clinton, this is when the story broke, although it happened years earlier. This happened years earlier, and we learned from her emails. Hillary Clinton pitched Iraq as a business opportunity for U.S. corporations. Allow me to repeat that. Quote, Hillary Clinton pitched Iraq, the Iraq War, as a business opportunity for U.S. corporations. Money buying influence in politics? Oh, don't be silly, you conspiracy theorist. Or how about this one here? Elizabeth Warren told a story about how Hillary got Bill Clinton to veto a bankruptcy bill because that bankruptcy bill basically rigged the rules in favor of big corporations. And Elizabeth Warren at the time was fighting against that. And she actually convinced Hillary, hey, this is bad for the people, don't do it. So you're thinking, well, wait, that shows Hillary was principled on this topic, right? Hold on just a second here. When Hillary went on to become a senator, she took millions of dollars from Wall Street and then, poof, reversed her position on the same bill that she convinced Bill Clinton to veto. What changed in that time frame? She became a senator, but she took money from those corporations who wanted that bill to pass. Guys, this is the way the game is played. And then, of course, Hillary was in favor of single-payer healthcare in the early 1990s, and she even pushed for it. And then after the industry started throwing tremendous amounts of cash at her, lo and behold, now she's against a single-payer system. And we discussed this the other day. There was a chart from The Intercept which broke down the exact amount of money she was paid in just 2013 to 2015, how much money she got paid from speeches to the health industry. So it's nearly $3 million into her pocket in speeches to the health industry. How's she going to fight them? How's she going to crack down on them? How's she going to twist their arms to give the American people better deals or to help set up a single-payer healthcare system if she's taking this money from them? Obviously, there's strings attached to that, guys. So this idea of, well, you know, there's no effect. On the contrary, with Hillary, it's actually worse than almost anybody in politics. And I'm not just saying that as if it's my opinion. I'm saying it because it's true. You have her taking money for her campaign. You have her super PAC taking money on her behalf. Obviously, she hears about that, and she knows who to return the favors to in that realm as well. And then on top of that, you have the Clinton Foundation, which they take money and do favors for people with that as well. And then you have just personal speaking fees, where her and Bill have made over $100 million in just speaking fees over their careers. Over $100 million. Not only is she's bought by more people than maybe any other politician, including the Republicans. So, I mean, think about that, man. Again, I would pick Hillary over the Republicans because Hillary's just today much better on all the social issues, would be much better for the Supreme Court, and would probably be kind of like a Bill Clinton or Obama-like character, if anything, a little to the right of them. And that's better than, you know, fucking Ted Cruz or any other maniac like that. But the idea that one would even consider her over somebody who's truly principled and has a record to show it like Bernie Sanders is beyond absurd.